All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we bring in our special guest, Steve Rosenberg, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends so they can hear all of the amazing things Steve is about to share with us. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel so that you never miss an episode. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, speaker, author, former chief operating officer of Federation of Philadelphia, Steve Rosenberg, and in full disclosure, a close friend. We've been working together on Israel Appreciation Day for probably 6 months now. Steve, welcome to the people. Thrilled to have you.
Thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into this. I know Israel and Israel Appreciation Day is close to your heart. What do you hope we get out of Israel Appreciation Day? I mean, you and I have had our nose to the grindstone for a long time, so it's sometimes hard to have a broader perspective.
Ultimately, I hope that we don't need to have an Israel Appreciation Day. I hope that every day is Israel Appreciation Day, because that's the way it should be. We shouldn't have to have an Israel Appreciation Day because, as you said, Robert, every single day somebody is appreciating something that the people in Israel have given us, whether that be in agriculture, in medicine, in financial, your cell phone, every single day. Every single day, Israel contributes to society. So I hope that we don't have to do Israel Appreciation Day for too long. How about that?
Touche. Well put. Although I think, given the state of things, we're going to have it for. And folks, this is our inaugural event. Our intention is to do this every year and make this an annual event. But I think, Steve, I think you're right. So when you look at what's going on in Israel now, right? Hezbollah is sort of ramping up, getting ready to attack Israel. Obviously, preemptively, I think set them back a little bit. But what? Just because you're much more familiar with the geopolitics than I am, what do you think the next move on the chessboard is? And does Iran get involved directly, in your opinion?
I think that Iran has gotten involved. Iran controls the Houthis. Iran controls Hezbollah. Iran controls Hamas. And I am not a geopolitical expert. There are much smarter people out there than me. But if you study this, if you pay attention, if you look around, they actually, it is better for Iran to have this slow drip, to keep Israel's army occupied in the south so that Hezbollah can send rockets from the north. Think about it. There used to be a much larger, thriving community in Israel's north, in the Golan Heights. Those Israelis don't live there anymore. So in theory, they're sort of winning that part of the war because Israel has been so focused in the south. So this slow drip, if you will, is very positive for Iran. This sounds counterintuitive, but Israel actually needs a bit of an escalation so it can completely do what it needs to do, end this thing, and move on.
And again, I know I'm sort of setting you up on this one, but how do you solve the Gaza problem? What do you do with Gaza? Let's assume you defeat Hamas, right? And obviously, Israel Appreciation Day is about Israel may win the war, but if we lose the battle for hearts and minds here, you lose the bigger battle, and we can talk about that. But I'm trying to figure out, and I've talked to various people, how do you solve the Gaza problem? What do you do with Gaza when you're done? Right, once you defeat Hamas.
Good question.
Yeah, if I had that answer, I think I'd be working in the White House. But I think there's a couple of things going on here, right? There's control of the Philadelphia corridor, which Egypt has been selfishly controlling because they're the ones that are helping and have been helping Hamas control the money, the food. This is not about Israel not letting food or supplies into Gaza. They've always let food in. It has been taken, stolen by the bad actors. So you have Egypt, which, as you said earlier, Robert, Begin and Sadat got together a long time ago and forged a great friendship, which has been kept going for now about 50 years almost. But we need a willing partner in Egypt. We need a willing partner in Jordan, which is Israel's largest neighbor on the east. And we need a willing partner in the White House. We need people that understand that Israel is our greatest ally. Israel has not just a great military, but incredible natural resources. Israel is and has been a willing partner in the Abraham Accords. And Ericka, the only country you didn't mention was Sudan. And it is expandable. And the Abraham Accords have been, in my opinion, the greatest gift since Israel became a state in 1948, without question. Instead of stopping the Abraham Accords like Biden did when he came into office, he should have said, I might not like Donald Trump, but I like this path to peace, and let's expand the Abraham Accords. I wrote a piece last week, and I called it the two-state delusion, because anybody that puts their hope on the two-state solution also believes in the tooth fairy and Santa Claus, because it can't happen.
This is I literally.
There is no Santa Claus? They've been lying to me all these years?
I'm sorry. The Easter Bunny isn't real either, by the way.
Okay, here's the deal. Okay,
Depressing.
I'm old enough to remember when Reagan was president, and I think they were talking about a two-state solution back then. I feel like that's been rejected by every Hamas leader there has been. Wait, how old am I now?
We're talking Palestinian leaders, sure.
Palestinian leader, whatever,
It started in 1948 when they were both given states at the UN, and Israel gladly took it. Israel would have taken anything, right? And the Arabs not only didn't take the state, they attacked Israel on day one. And Israel, without an army, fought them off, okay? How about, let's jump fast forward to the Oslo Accords, where Clinton brought Arafat to the White House lawn. The greatest terrorist maybe in the history of the world, Yasser Arafat, was brought to the White House lawn to make peace with Israel. He was given the greatest land deal probably in history. And what did he do? He started an intifada and started to kill and attack Jews instead of saying yes. They have rejected peace at every instance, at every crossroads, at every opportunity. They've been given land. The Oslo Accords divided Judea and Samaria, which some people call the West Bank, into three areas: Area A, B, and C. Area A has Ramallah, Hebron, and it gives the Palestinian Authority complete control. They can't control it. The bad actors take over. Area B gives Israel control over civil matters. Over security and Palestinian Authority on civil matters. And Area C, Israel has complete control. But Israel has to maintain security control. Otherwise, there will be no more Israel. And the best example, really, of all of this is when Sharon pulled out of Gaza in 2005, left them the most beautiful possible beachfront area that you could imagine. And what happened within a year? Hamas took over, won the election, and they started to rip Gaza apart, use the materials to build tunnels into Israel so they could go and kill Jews. Instead of saying, you know what, we have a state. We have a gorgeous beachfront state that looks like Dubai. No, we're going to use this land and all this materials to go back and kill Jews. This is fact. This is indisputable, undeniable fact.
And that's what I just have to believe at this point, that the people we're hearing from are evil, because you either have to be so ignorant of history that it's borderlining on,
they're super smart. They're making up. Listen, whether you like Donald Trump or you don't like Donald Trump, when he came up with the term fake news media, bingo, arrow right in the middle of the bullseye. Because if you watch the news, okay, any of the news, they're not giving you the real news. They're giving you the slant that they want to give. If Israel cured cancer tomorrow, David Muir would come on ABC and say, but why? Cancer's good. It keeps doctors working. No matter what Israel does, says, or do, it's wrong. Hamas didn't just go in and commit these unbelievable atrocities on October 7th or all the times before that. They have waged an unbelievable PR war for decades, beginning with the indoctrination of kids in schools, in K through 12 schools, with educators, with administrators. It's gone on to college campuses, and we have lost an entire generation of young people that don't know the difference between right and wrong. You guys were talking about how did Israel become an oppressor nation? Well, people divide this country into two classes. You're either an oppressor or you're the oppressed. That's complete idiocy.
Yeah.
That's how we got where we are.
So we've got some comments here in the chat.
Go for it.
Yeah, Steve
Uh-oh.
Rosenberg is an amazing Jewish leader. So people are in here loving on you, man.
Wow.
Brilliant speaker, learned so much. Thank you guys. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Anna, for commenting. Yeah, this has been enlightening for me. Yeah, but I interrupted your question, Robert. What you got?
Well, I want to turn to domestic politics because obviously there's a little thing called an election coming up this November.
There is?
Right. Well, last time I checked, I mean, we have to get through the debate first and we'll see whether the microphones are going to be on or off. But it doesn't get canceled. But the thing I am struck with, and I'm not. I think that the worm turned, as the expression goes, in 2008 when Obama became president, because I think that he divided this country along every racial and financial fissure you could find, right? Rich from poor, black from white, men from women, all of that. But one of the things about the Obama presidency to me is like Yasser Arafat, right? Yasser Arafat would say one thing to the West in English, and he would say something totally different to his followers in Arabic, right? Likewise, Barack Obama would say one thing like, well, if you like your health care, you can keep it. And yet in practical reality, he would tell the American public what they wanted to hear. The press would eat it up, but he would do something different. I see the same thing in Kamala Harris based on certainly her DNC convention speech. What do you see in her? I mean, is there any remote chance she's a friend of Israel in any real terms?
Who could know? All we know is that she can read off of a teleprompter for 45 minutes. That's all we know. She gives no speeches. I don't know what she stands for. I don't know what she believes. Let her do some interviews. She
believes that time is significance and that the significance of time is significant.
I believe that too. I think all time.
Is that what she said? Come on, seriously?
But no, Robert, seriously. I say to people all the time, I would love to believe that Kamala Harris will be an Israel advocate. But you said something about a little while ago that leadership matters. I think that this is a team sport. And I believe that Team Biden, I think Joe Biden in his heart has wanted to be pro-Israel. I think the people on his team have been awful. The capitulation towards Iran have been embarrassing. My friend Jeff Bartos, who is, Robert, is a great, one of the great advocates for Israel. Okay. He posed a question the other day. He said, were you better off, and this ties into the election, were you better off 6 years ago or today? And don't answer that question. Let's pose that question to the mullahs in Iran. Were they better off 6 years ago or are they better off today? And will they be better off under a Harris presidency or a Trump presidency? I don't know, but I've seen the future. And under Trump, they were insolvent. They were irrelevant. They had nowhere to go but up. Then all of a sudden, we start giving them cash and release the sanctions and made them relevant and important again. And by the way, they don't just hate the Jews. They hate America. So I don't care if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're Episcopalian, if you're Protestant, because if there's no more Jews left, guess what? They're going to come after you. And so I tell all my Jewish friends, to me, this is a one-issue election. I don't care if you believe in climate change, gun control, abortion rights, all super important issues. You like education reform? Great. If there's no Jews left, those issues don't matter. So I don't know what Kamala Harris stands for. I would like them to let her speak, but you and I both know they're not going to. So Biden didn't speak for 2 months. Kamala Harris, she doesn't have to raise any more money. She's got like $600 million in the bank. She doesn't have to make any friends. She got the nomination without even, going out to campaign, which is fine. She's the vice president. But all she should be doing is campaigning on issues. But she doesn't do that. So I don't know what her issues are.
Oh, yeah. And think about this. The first debate happens after mail-in ballots go out. So a bunch of states around the country have mail-in early balloting starting in September, and they're going out before there's even a debate. And
wait a minute. Joe Biden debates before the convention and the primaries, and the Harris Trump debate is after the ballots are out. Yeah, that's not a coincidence, is it?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and Tilly said she doesn't say much. She stays out of the faces of reporters, avoiding answering. She's going to do it, y'all. She's going to do it. She's going to stay in the basement, just like Joe Biden did.
Well, I think in Steve's parlance, she's going to play rope-a-dope for 2 or 3 months, and just and because I know Steve's a big sports guy.
She's
And
playing
you had
prevent defense, and you can't
Right.
win a game playing prevent defense for
Oh.
4 quarters. You can do it in the last 2 minutes of a game, but if you start playing prevent defense at the beginning of a game, there's a good chance you're not going to score any points. So look, we still have a long way to go. Ericka, you're right. Ballots are coming out, I think, in North Carolina next week or the week after. So people are starting to vote. But anybody can vote. You can be a Democrat or a Republican. I would love to hear what she stands for, right? I think there's some good in Tim Walz. I don't know enough about him. I know some of the things that I completely disagree with him on. But listen, I was dead wrong about guys like John Fetterman. I couldn't have been more wrong, right? So there are great Jewish advocates and Israel advocates in the Democratic Party. Not many, but there are some, like my friend Richie Torres. There is no greater leader than Richie Torres on the state of Israel.
that is for sure. That is right.
So
Yep.
maybe we could be surprised, but we got to hear it. We got to listen. Start talking.
So, all right. So let's get into the weeds a little bit on this. During the process that Tim Walz got elected, and by the way, to me, it's Commie Harris and Commie Walz, but that's my own personal opinion. One with a K, one with a C. I know. But they passed over your friend, Governor Josh Shapiro, who I know that that you have a relationship with. So they passed over the moderate Jew for the the Muslim Brotherhood communist governor, in my opinion, of Minnesota. So to me, what does that say about who really controls the Democrat Party? We call them here, by the way, the autocrat party, because you want to see about front loading a process. To me, this was a soft coup anyways, but what does that say to you? How did you interpret that? Because I know you and I had gone back and forth at the time that they passed over Governor Shapiro, which to me would have been sort of a olive branch to the moderate wing of the party.
Yeah, I don't know how to interpret that. I go back and forth. Josh is a good man. He is a smart man. He has great ambition. I was actually surprised he would be willing to be a number 2. He's always been a number 1. But, the Democrats tend to listen to that small minority called the woke progressive left. And I don't believe that the entire Democratic Party is that way. I think there's a loud minority on the left, just like on the right. There's a small vocal minority of the far right that doesn't represent all of the GOP. I think most people are here in the center, right? Center left, center right. But they capitulate to these loud, obnoxious people that are America haters. If you look at some of Tim Walz's resume, you could get excited by Tim Walz. I'm not particularly myself excited by it, but they could have had an easy layup. This was a bunny, as they call it in basketball, Robert, to pick Josh Shapiro and have Shapiro and Kamala. And I think that would have given her Pennsylvania. It would have given her an easy road to the White House, and they didn't take it. So you can make any interpretation you want. I've made my own.
Speaking of interpretations, if you like what you hear, if you are getting something out of our conversation with guest Steve Rosenberg, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, because obviously they need to hear how smart and cool we are, and subscribe to the channel. Give us a 5-star review on that podcast platform.
And Steve, for our listeners, where can they find you if they want to contact you? How do they get to you? I mean, I know you're usually sort of in the fortress of solitude somewhere, and most people can't get to you. So we're very fortunate that you came out of hiding to come talk to us today. But if they want to get you, where do they get you?
You got like a Substack? You got like something?
I do not live in the Unabomber's cabin in Montana like some people might live in mainstream society. I am not a Twitter person, but they could find me on LinkedIn. That's the form that I use. They could follow me. I do a lot of writing on jns.org. And, if they just search my name, they'll find me. But, I hope that these people go on and follow Israel Appreciation Day. I know, Robert, that we were able to bring on One Jewish State as a partner. David Friedman, the greatest ambassador to Israel that the United States have ever had. is out with a book called One Jewish State in a couple of weeks, and it's a real movement to help the state of Israel. And they're going to be a great partner for Israel Appreciation Day. There are some really great grassroots movements that are out there doing this good work. And I would be remiss if I didn't, thank you for contacting me a year or so ago and to get involved and to do this work, because, success against an ambitious agenda takes great people up and down an organization. And Robert, you know how to build an organization and convene people and get consensus. This doesn't happen, Israel Appreciation Day, without your leadership and guidance, and I'm proud to be part of it. And I hope that thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands tune in for however long we need Israel Appreciation Day, and they spread the word about what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. There's a phenomenal lineup. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be informative. It's going to be interesting. And people are going to learn a lot, and they're going to come away thinking, wow, I didn't know that about Israel. Or, wow, Israel is going to be the largest supplier of natural gas in the Middle East. Or, oh, maybe Saudi Arabia is going to be the next partner of the Abraham Accords. There's so much to learn. But Israel Appreciation Day is going to be one super important step for people. And then they can make up their own minds, because as one of my all-time favorite TV characters, Fred Sanford, used to say, the truth will set you free.
Well, and, Robert is making a bold thing happen. So everybody go check out Make Bold Things. Wait, Make Bold Things Happen, right?
Make bold things happen.
Make bold things happen.
Gotta read.
IsraelAppreciationDay.com. But Steve, thank you, and thank you for being part of it, and Ericka as well. I mean, it is a team effort. As you said, politics is a team sport. Well, events like this, it's a team effort, and it's not any one person, but somebody had to light a fire, and look, I used to play with matches as a kid, lit the park on fire. So I'm always the one who, lights fires, but no, look.
Could you give the date, Robert? Could you give the date of the event? There's a date. There's a question for the date. Could you let people know?
September 18th, 6:30 p.m. Go to IsraelAppreciationDay.com. That's East Coast time. It is in an undisclosed location, but it is going to be on streaming channels. It's it's an event it's a two-way event. If you want to join the event, we hope you do. There's going to be streaming on some social media influencers that we're bringing in. I mean, we're bringing in Hollywood. We're bringing in some some musical acts. I can tell you that John Andrasik just signed aboard. He's going to be performing for us there as well. There's a couple other acts that are coming on as well. So we have politicians, we have Main Street, we have Hollywood. It's really a coming together for Israel, and it's just such an important event. But again, like you said, it's going to be educational, but it's also going to be entertaining. And we hope that you'll tune in. IsraelAppreciationDay.com, September 18th at 6:30 p.m. But go to the website; it'll tell you everything you need to know.
Excellent. And go to MakeBoldThingsHappen.com. Check out our guest Steve Rosenberg's book. You're going to be at Israel Appreciation Day. You're going to be one of our speakers. Okay, so you guys, we got 3 minutes left. So
can we come back to the One Jewish State, because that is something that, thank you for reminding me, I wanted to bring up. Let's talk about the whole movement of One Jewish State, Steve, and encapsulate it for our listeners. What is it compared to what was it, right? I mean, because you and I both know, the two-state solution has been around for a long time. But when people talk about one Jewish state, help us out here.
Well, like I said, Ambassador Friedman came up with, he wrote this book called One Jewish State. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Rabbi Tuli Wise, who I won't say where he lives, but it's not in the United States, created a movement with a few other people to get a bunch of delegates so that we could help really change the votes, change the government, change the way that Israel works internally, and then also the way that people view Israel and in America, and people can get involved in a grassroots level. But as I don't want to speak for Ambassador Friedman, but the way he talks about it, those three words, one Jewish state, there's only one Jewish people, right? Mm-hmm. They have had only one homeland. It is the Jewish homeland. And it has been the Jewish homeland for thousands of years, and it is their state. So it's a simple name, One Jewish State. But when you really think about the meaning of One Jewish State, it says a lot, it means a lot, and it really is a way to push forward into the future. And that's how Jews really have to think. Because as I said earlier, Robert, there's a generation that sees Israel as a bad guy. And if you're a Jew, we need Israel. If there was an Israel in 1938, there'd be at least 6 million more of us sitting here today. And that's the reason that I support Israel. And in addition to everything else, Israel will always be there in case we need it.
I'll also add, it's not just, and Steve very eloquently put, it's not just if you're a Jew, we need Israel. If you're not a Jew, you need Israel.
Of course.
And that's really, to me, the message of Israel Appreciation Day. As a friend of mine said, just Jews supporting Jews doesn't move the needle. And that's sort of axiomatic, right? I mean, it's really, the Judeo-Christian world, as I like to refer to it, has to wake up and understand that it's those values that A, Israel protects, and B, are under attack, I would argue, globally.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you for correcting me, because without Israel in the Middle East, it would be nothing but chaos, mass confusion. The Levant would be the Levant, and there would be nothing between the river and the sea.
So to the people who don't understand the term Levant, can you quickly explain that to them? Because a lot of our listeners may not.
The region where Israel is, below Syria, above Egypt, to the west of Jordan, and to the east of the Mediterranean Sea. I mean, it's a little bit larger than that, but it's a word that goes back that means lever. I believe is what it actually means, but it's a word that if you go back into the history, it's when there are Israel haters that speak to the region and they only refer to it as the Levant. They don't even say Israel.
Thank you. I just know, obviously I know the term. I'm not even sure, Ericka, you're familiar with the term, but to our listeners who, that's a kind of term that I just wanted you to explain. So listen, first of all, I want to thank you, Steve, for taking the time to come on. And I say this respectfully, I know how busy you are. So for you to take the time to come on to talk about Israel Appreciation Day, Israeli politics, U.S. politics, very appreciative, my friend. Thank you so much.
Guys, anytime. Keep up the great work. Keep spreading the good message.
All right, you guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and come back and see us next week. Bye.